So for me, I feel like if you were to take a poll, people would say Kendrick is better.
Yeah.
Like from a lyrical perspective, I don't think anybody's has ever been better than Lupe. Right?
Like is he like your all-time goat?
Yeah.
Oh shit, let's go.
Yeah.
She's got a fake boyfriend. He lives in LA. Says she met him online. I mean, what else can I say? Said he'll visit next May. But that's hard to believe. Cause he works in a cafe. And playing tickets ain't free. Says he's in school. He's doing big things. He'll be the best welder this world's ever seen. God, I sound like an asshole. I don't mean to be mean. It's just when we talked, you had bigger dreams. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong. No one on this earth deserves the weight upon my love this wrong. I never told you sorry, so I gotta put it in the song. My nightmares, they haunt me. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong.
Yeah, podcast and stuff. We just started. Boom. That's
There's no intro?
That is the intro.
Oh, okay. I was expecting some theme music or something.
That's in the post intro. The post intro is usually a funny moment. Depending on how lazy I am.
Yeah.
But it's a moment. It might even be that would suck. Because it'd
you
be like you
start
hear this.
How you ended it.
No, because
it'll be like a loop.
You hear that, and then you hear like one of my songs, and then because promo, and then you hear the start. So it would suck to hear the start a song and then the start again.
Yeah, but it would never finish.
It'd finish. It'd be like an hour
put
later.
It on a loop.
But that would be like the annoying podcast, Inception podcast.
Exactly.
A podcast within a podcast. But who am I here with today?
Who are you here with today?
I'm asking you. I don't intro people. I ask people.
Oh, man. You made me do all the work.
Yeah, man. I should have put this closer. It's horrible.
I am the guy who buries threes in your face. I think that's who I am.
He's on fire, NBA Jam styles. You are actually.
I'm the guy who disrespects you on the court.
I know. He made me retire, dude. I'm Bill Russell status just because it's hard, man. It's hard out there. But nah, you are right, and some real shit. I moved from the Bronx. I had to like, am I from the Bronx? I'm like,
hey, you've been out for a while.
Yeah, I know, right? I moved from the Bronx to San Antonio. I'm here for 2 months in the summer. And then I'm pissed because school starts in August here. What the fuck's wrong with people? And like, I have to take 4 classes, and one of the, I don't remember what the 4th class was, but I signed up. What did we sign up for? SI or some shit?
Yeah, SI? Something like that.
Some weird like
welcome
trio.
To college.
Yeah, welcome to college courses that were, I guess, overall pretty bad. Or maybe not bad, but they weren't like great. You know, they're stupid.
Yeah.
Especially once you're in it enough that now you know what college is like.
Yeah.
Like, fuck,
we don't need
super
to do this
fucked
anymore.
up.
Yeah.
It's needed to be for like one day, and that was it. But like, I end up meeting you, and you're probably like the first like friend like that I have in Texas, like just in Texas, period. So, and then you broke my heart many thousands of times on the 3-point line. You know, so I hated you too. But yeah, man, because we had a lot in common in the beginning. I actually played basketball versus now where like I can't even get on the court.
Yeah.
And the hip hop, obviously, of course,
for sure.
But yeah,
but you were on that real shit. Like you were on that
because I was fresh off fresh off the NY still.
Yeah, you're like, Texas, what is this? Chopped and screwed. That's what was big back then.
Yeah, I was ignoring all that shit. I mean, now it's so dominant. Like we get classified as old men. So like, but back then it was still like, it's cool what y'all doing, yo. Because I got a shitload of Cash Money records up in there, you know. So I did like my Southern records, but it was more like, this is cute, you know, but we didn't respect y'all like on a bar.
No. And I don't think you should have.
But now, like, it's so dominant, like maybe not Chopped and Screwed, but whatever it is going on now, that like, it's weird now. Like everything's changed to the point that like these guys admit that no, we don't have bars. Like we don't want bars. Like they're just like, that we want everything else. We want the success, the accolades. You better put me on your top 10 list, because all of them always get angry when Ebro doesn't put them on their top 10 list. But then the first one to say that they don't have bars is themselves. Lil Uzi Vert, I'm not a rapper, I'm a rock star.
Oh man.
Future, like same. He won't say that, but I mean, I feel like I can go find the "I don't have bars" quote from him and like all of them, and it's like it's the antithesis of what it was
For sure.
Ego rap, I'm the best. It was all Pokemon. Hip hop was all Pokemon. I want to be the very best. They weren't catching them all, but they wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. And then now doing all this like little, I don't know if we call it research so much as watching YouTube videos and Googling, but now I'm into this power of the mind stuff and like the self narrative that we tell ourselves. It's crazy because who knows what they say privately, but publicly they're like, I suck. But they're also like, but I'm still the god of this shit, of whatever it is they do, their little world. So I don't know. That's trippy. I never envisioned hip hop like that, but it is what it is. Do you like that music?
I don't listen to it.
I
just haven't heard enough.
I can.
Yeah.
And
I can't name you an artist.
I can be nice and say like I like it when it has a hot beat. So like Lil Uzi Vert, I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know what he says. All my friends are dead. Yeah, push me to the edge. That's what he says. This is what he says. So that was a hot beat. That was the first song I ever noticed from him. It had this stupid like. Now they took it off, and now he has an actual music video, and it sucks. But it had like this animated graphic that just loops of him driving while you hear that. And that thing went probably like, I don't know if it's viral, but like popular in the community. But any song I've heard that isn't that song from Uzi Vert, the beat isn't hot. So now I hear him and I'm like, I
couldn't name you an artist that's big right now. I mean, like I know Kendrick and all them, right? But like the newer stuff,
no
like
Migos
Drake
for you?
is the closest person.
Is Drake the middle ground, right? He's the line, right?
He is, right? Like I don't go
line,
lower
right?
than that. Yeah.
He's the Mendoza line. Yeah. Drake is the hip hop Mendoza line.
I do not go lower than Drake. Like if you're gonna meet that standard, that's fine. But anything lower than that, I'm just not gonna listen.
See, that's gonna be the intro.
The
Drake Mendoza line. That's ridiculous. That's hilarious because it's like both a compliment and like a diss. But I mean,
I know it's a backhanded compliment.
I wonder if like my other hip hop friend like that's the podcast. Maybe like when you're in Houston, we can do that. Like
for sure, H-Town, man.
You
like I'm repping H-Town. I've lived there like 2 months.
I'm like, damn, what happened to like SA Love? But
I still got it.
But when you're in Houston, like maybe we'll just patch you in and like we use a program called Discord, which is like just better Skype. I don't know if you heard of it, but yeah, and we'll have the bigger hip hop discussion on there. But
see, look, that's a level you never want to get to as an organization.
What?
You are the lesser of something else, right? Like it's the better Skype, right? Like you never want to get to that.
You don't want to be the better Skype?
No, you don't want to be Skype, right?
Oh,
you don't want to be where it's like, oh well.
Did Skype ever get there, or did they cash out? Because and now Microsoft owns it, and Microsoft took it there.
That could be true.
Let it be there, like they never elevated it. Somehow that shit updates every other week. What it's updating, I have no idea. Because this is the first year where I take the podcasting seriously. So this conversation will be heard on all the platforms except Spotify because they are mean gatekeepers. I submitted last week. But they're the only people who it seems like it's tough. Like I just got on Google Play and I'm probably on anything else that a podcast should be on. But I did one 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was about Street Fighter and like I would patch in all these people from around town because they're lazy people. Like so they didn't really want to go to no house or nothing. But I would do like up to 8 people and then we started interviewing famous people around the world. Like Singapore was like the farthest we got.
Oh wow.
And that all on Skype. Man, it sucked. Like doing like even some of the San Antonio ones sucked.
Yeah.
But man, like it sucked. Especially if we added in a video. It was just like and like it would do this weird noise. It's funny, tomorrow I'm gonna interview Tampa Bison and he's one of the few Street Fighter people who's actually famous who I met and he's kind of like I guess we're not close friends, but I'm like, we cool. Like I drove him from the airport when we were in Vegas and like he's a cool dude. And we're gonna bring him on tomorrow, but he didn't have a lot, and who knows? Maybe I don't even know if he has a lot of money now. But back then he didn't, so he was like Skyping from the phone, And if you hear his podcast, maybe like an hour in, it does this weird like lag noise or something. Like let's say I'm talking right now, and then I become a like. And man, it was just horrible. And I'd be like, "Can you say that again? Can you say that again? Can you say it?" To like he has no energy to even say it anymore. It was disgusting. But Discord was made by gamers who were fed up with that. So it was all audio, and video just started like 2 months ago.
Okay.
So far so good. The video is just tougher, but so far so good. I did one with my friend in London, and I'd say 95% of the show was good. The ending started lagging up, but other than that, it was good. But yeah, man. Do you gonna answer who's Matt?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to stop talking.
Nah, man's gotta keep talking. Man's gotta keep talking.
I
do too many of these. I can't not talk now.
No, that's true. That's probably true. No, I am a researcher at Rice University.
You're gonna go with the job?
Well, you have to, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how one defines himself.
Right now,
okay,
it is. Outside of what I told you,
3-pointers and faces.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is who I am.
There's more to life than 3-pointers and faces.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I do.
Got you.
Right. Yeah, no, so I do research on educational disparities at Rice. I just came back to Texas from Providence, Rhode Island. The hidden gem of the world, which I guess we're gonna just bleep out the name of the city. That'd be really funny.
It's banned. I mean, I can't. Somebody gave me an app in Denver, and he was like, "Dude," and I was like, "All right, I'll edit it out." So he says it in the podcast, and it's blank. I don't put bleeps, but I just and then kept talking.
That would be really funny, though.
If you want me to do that, I'll do it. I'll do it.
That'd be great. Because you got to keep the city a hidden gem.
Oh man,
right? Because then it turns into Austin. Nobody wants to be that.
Do you want me?
I'm pretty sure I'm offending like 1 million people.
It doesn't matter. But they need to be. Everybody needs to be offended. Wakes people up. Do you want me to omit it?
No, you can do whatever.
Good, because I was like, well, then I won't say the word again, but I might say it a few more times.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I was up there finishing my postdoc at Brown, and yeah, it was a good experience. There's a difference in the Ivy League and the type of prestige that's up there. Like you got fed and open bar after every presentation. And so it was just like the full king spread, right?
You done made it.
Yeah, that's what it felt like, right? At times. But yeah, no, it was a good intellectual experience. It was it helped me to kind of cultivate my own voice as an academic. End up publishing article in the top journal in sociology, and so it's a pretty big accomplishment. Yeah, so finished my before that was in San Antonio, UTSA, doing my doctorate in demography. And before that, as worked in I was at Baylor getting my master's in social, and then before that working with communities and schools here in San Antonio, and then before that just breaking ankles.
TSA life.
Yeah.
Man, so you like Puff Daddy, dude. You've been around, dude. Been around the world.
Yeah, around the world, but yeah, around America for sure. Yeah, no, I have been in a lot of cities, right? And it's weird to say that because growing up, like we never went to the other side of town, right? It's like San Antonio. I think a lot of people have that experience where it's like, oh, north side, you don't go to north side. It's like way over there. And so you just kind of
people are still like that.
I know.
Like
it's crazy.
I never got this in there. People won't hang out with me in San Antonio, not even Texas, in San Antonio because I live here, or vice versa. Like, no, actually, no, I don't do that a lot because I've been trained from New York. But like, I could be downtown and someone's not downtown. They're like, strip's too far, dude. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm like, you have a car, like, or yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a weird mentality, and I think part of it was just the fact that we didn't have much money, so you had to preserve gas and stuff like that growing up, right? But yeah, like having lived that experience and never really traveling out of the state, much. Maybe once a year I'd go see family in Louisiana, but it was right on the border. And that's not a tourist spot, right? Like there's just
No
go
one's
see
going to
family.
Louisiana?
No one is going. Not northern Louisiana.
Only been to Kentucky, and that was for like a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now that like I've been able, my job has allowed me to travel more. I've the cities off my bucket list are pretty much done, right? Like I still haven't gone to Miami. At least I still want to go to Miami. But other than that, right? Like having been around, I think that has helped me really appreciate San Antonio more, in a weird way, right?
Give me some of that, because I've had a lot of people, because this podcast started with musicians, but I'm getting I'll get anyone I know now.
Yeah.
And I'll say 9 out of 10 musicians that I guess that I'm gonna bring on here, they hate this place. So it was just like the most negative podcast on earth. But so give me some positivity. It's gonna be you and Amia. You're the only positive people.
Oh, come on. I mean, look, here you have a city that is a large city. It's not a large metropolitan area, right?
Yeah.
Like in kind of the demographic sense, right? You think about like Houston or Dallas
Large,
Fort Worth,
wide,
right?
yeah.
Like Dallas Fort Worth is a huge metropolitan area.
Yeah.
But San Antonio is bigger than both of those cities individually, right? And so, but yet, like I feel like San Antonio's infrastructure is really good. I think even flying into San Antonio just reminded of how green it is, right? Like just how much, how many trees there are, how many oaks there are.
Are here for now.
For now, until like all the developers come, right?
Where I live right now, like before I lived here, my sister lived there for way before. That's how we get here.
Mm-hmm.
This whole area used to be green.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's definitely something to look out for, right? But compare it to like Houston, where it's just all flat.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have not met a hill since I've been there. The next hill I meet will be the first. But yeah, like and looking at like comparing different cities and looking at the traffic patterns in a city like Houston, where it's always congested and you're always frustrated at traffic. You come here, rush hour is not really that bad. I think I know people who live here think it is, but it's really
Still
not.
don't have the perspective.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Boston, right? Or Austin.
To just keep it close. Keep it close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I did only Houston one day, but I did Friday at 5 p.m. right, which should be horrible, and it was. But as the same summer that I did LA, so I was this is fantastic.
For sure.
I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
like we're moving.
Or even if you do Boston, right? Like that Boston corridor.
I never got to do Boston driving.
Oh, it's horrible.
But after LA, I was like, everything's great.
Yeah,
like LA is the weirdest thing. I've driven all 24 hours in LA, like spots. You can pick your obvious ones. Of course, the work hours suck, but I've driven like at 10 p.m. At 10 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I went to Hawaii to visit my friend. I left at 4 a.m. I was always in traffic. Like when you drive to places like 4 a.m., it's not all the highways, but there were certain highways where I'm like, why? Like it's like a city of Uber drivers. Like no one, it's like there's always cars here. It's the highway that never sleeps. It's
pretty bad.
I would love to know what are some of these people's like jobs that are like that is a 24-hour highway like problem.
Yeah.
Because someone's going somewhere. Like, so what causes that shit,
Yeah. I don't
Besides the obvious thing of too many people, but like there must be a good reason like for all these people to always be on the road. Like that it's just not the normal times of 5 and 7 a.m.,
For sure. Well, I mean, like I think some of the other things to enjoy about San Antonio is cost of living.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's super cheap to live here.
Yeah. Dude, when just
no
gas prices to everybody else.
Well, not even just gas prices, but like houses, right? Like what you could get for, $250, $300 in Northeast, it's like a 1-bedroom.
A lot of my friends who graduated got houses here now. Like, yeah.
Yeah. You can get a house easily with a BA, if, even that, right? Like, and so that's good, right? Like there's more of the family type of life. It's a slower city, slower pace, it feels like. But I still think it has a lot to offer with culture, with, it's a big tourist trap, at least downtown, but there's still a lot to like about the city in that way.
What you mentioned the infrastructure was good. What did you mean by that again? Because I feel like
I think like you think
caught up.
about like Austin, you got to drive through what 35, right? Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now they're
So
starting
you
to
mean
build
their highway
some,
infrastructure
yeah,
is good here?
right.
Okay.
Not the public transit,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like that's not
It's
good
ass.
in
It's
Texas
ass.
anywhere.
Yeah. If
And
you mess with
horrible,
Austin
actually.
downtown, it's not. You might be okay. Because I know people who don't have cars in Austin, but they kind of just frequent that area.
Yeah, well, I can do that in Houston as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't ever drive in Houston because I use the metro,
Mm.
live in downtown, do that whole thing, right? But I'm one of the few people it works for in that scale, right? Like to where I can get to work and home, like just on the metro, or riding my bike, right? But yeah, there are things that San Antonio needs to develop, but yeah, for sure, I feel like there is a greater appreciation, having lived elsewhere
Mm.
and traveled a lot and seen how other cities operate, and
The perspective and stuff.
yeah,
Like I'm trying to think, like seeing. I think because like maybe like I'm still looking for something or the thing or whatever it is. Like when I go to other cities and see this place, I think I appreciate more like things like you said, cost of living and comfort, comfort and familiarity more than like, but like the things I'm into, like this city doesn't necessarily always offer. So yeah, I'm always like, I appreciate the comfort part more so than anything else, because I'm like, yeah, you got your car and it's like, do anything you want. Yeah, like, because avoid rush hour times and there's no real problems, you know.
yeah.
So some places starting to be like stupid, like I-10 to 410 transfer.
I haven't been here.
What?
I hadn't been here in the last.
Oh, okay, yo, but like that's been something that like the I-10 to 410.
Yeah, I know.
Like so it used to just be the normal times it would suck, but I feel like just sometimes just driving by, I'm not even going to it. Like now it's starting to be like is the sun out? All right, well then there's just gonna be cars there, and I'm like, this is something new that wasn't always a thing. So, but that's just gonna come more people.
But that's the thing, right? I think that is part of the fallacy of how we think about structure in cities. Because more people doesn't necessarily have to mean more traffic, right? Like if you start thinking about public transit, you start thinking about different ways in which communities can flow. That doesn't have to be the next step.
The transit doesn't have to be the next step, or traffic?
Traffic.
Okay.
Right? Like that doesn't have to be the necessary outcome of more people.
Yeah.
I think that is the outcome of how the system is structured, but that isn't the necessary outcome.
Is the solution public transit or something else?
I think there are a variety of things, right? That I don't study transportation as much. I know Kinder Institute at Rice is studying a lot about public transit in Houston, and so that Houston has a light rail system that doesn't serve a lot. Like you can't get to the airport, which I find kind of odd. Like why couldn't you get to the airport on a light rail that goes through downtown and major parts of the city?
You're describing Denver like Union Station.
Yeah, but Denver, I guess, I mean, in the sense of Denver's airport, it's like, what, 40 minutes away from their downtown?
Yeah,
right?
like
it's kind of ridiculous. It's another city almost.
Yeah,
right?
I was surprised. Like, I was like, we're not even in the same thing. Like, my friend was describing it to me before I saw it, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, you don't understand. The airport is here. Denver is here.
Yeah, it's like a separate, and in some ways Houston's like that, right? Like you have to drive ways to get there, but I feel like there could be some interconnectedness there.
Yeah.
And we see it in other cities, right? Like that you can get to the airport from wherever you're in the city.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the solution, right? I think the other parts are when you think about how businesses operate from 8 to 5. Right. Like if you have certain businesses blocking their schedules where they're more like, 10 to 7, then you can alleviate traffic from those employees going to work at the same time. Or you can move it earlier. Right. Like, and I get it that that's tied with like schools and, how when your kids get home and you have to be there and all that. But if we're all operating within the same schedule, then of course you're going to have more traffic. Right. Versus if we stagger that out, or for people who could stagger it out. And maybe things like telecommuting are part of that solution for jobs to offer, incentives in that way. Yeah, right. Like what can cities do to offer incentives for businesses that maybe do a delayed schedule or that have some sort of telecommute different days of the week or whatever. So anyway, like, I don't think it's necessarily part of you have to have the more people equals more traffic.
Do you think we'll ever do the transport upgrade? Because I've always had the vision. You're like, no, right away. But I've always had the vision of like just surrounding rail and then like buses that work in between them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like in terms of the loops, those are good ideas, right? Like, that San Antonio has 410 and 6 and I was gonna say 610, but that's in Houston.
Yeah.
The 1604, right? Like, that's a good idea that you have these loops, and I think that helps with the traffic flows. But I can see what you're saying, right? If you had loops with public transit with buses that interconnect those,
or just like trains for the loops and then buses for in between, you know?
Yeah, or even like, honestly, the biggest kind of, well, why hasn't this been done yet is train that connects the state in an efficient way, right? Like San Antonio to Austin to Dallas to Houston connection. Like, why hasn't that happened? Like, that's an obvious thing that I feel, right?
We're waiting for, I don't know if it was yesterday, but the Hyperloop, is that what we're waiting for?
I don't know.
Someone brought it up
Elon
on this
Musk
show.
idea. Yeah. But I mean, but even then, right? Like, we should have had something in place this whole time.
A basic train that, it does take 4 hours, but it's something, you know?
Yeah. Well, even then, it wouldn't have to take that long, right? Like, I mean, I think about how Amtrak works in the Northeast and all the trains outside of Amtrak, right, that run state to state. Like, you can get anywhere on the Northeast corridor on an Amtrak, right? You can go from Boston to DC. You can go from New York to Providence, right? Like,
I never had to use it when I was there. How is it?
It's fine for me, right? It's about the same amount of time. You consider New York traffic, it's probably quicker to take the train, right? And so things like that, they go, wait, but a lot of people use this, and this could be really helpful, especially when you talk about cities like Austin, right? That you have, okay, that's fine if you have a lot of the tech companies moving there, and that's great for that city. But that causes, because they don't have the infrastructure, that causes all the congestion, that causes more air pollution, that causes people with higher stress levels, right? Like, I'm pretty sure people would, if they could, live in San Marcos, New Braunfels, right, and commute on a train.
In that future world, I'd live here and work in LA.
If you're on a Hyperloop
there, No,
but
I don't know how effective the Hyperloop would be from Texas to LA.
But you know, like, I feel like we here in Texas need to move beyond the car, right? Like, we need to start thinking about how cities can be interconnected. And you can bring the economy, you can grow the economy, because now you're building in San Marcos, New Braunfels. Now you're building more in San Antonio, right? Like, and you're connecting the job markets with where people live.
Yeah.
And I think, like, those kinds of things are good for the economy, generally speaking.
I feel like this is such a big boy conversation for me on this show. This is like I'm like, man, like, this normally doesn't happen here.
What are you talking about normally?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Like, usually, I just go with whatever the person says. No, it's fine. I almost feel like, man, like, I gotta like pay attention and shit. I can't just be like hi and then. Do you see any of that happening? Not tomorrow, not next year, but like, do you see like potentials of any of that? Because I feel like
I don't know,
the way everyone talks, like, it would have to be something like the Hyperloop, something dramatic that, oh, okay, we better act because someone else some other state did it already.
Yeah.
So like, everybody's just gonna shit on us if we just don't do it, you know. But I can't imagine us like just taking steps.
But the Northeast has had like trains for forever, right? Like, compared to what Texas had.
But I mean, like, now that definitely wouldn't be sexy. Like, it might be practical, but no one cares about that. You know, like, because I mean, you know, you're way more into this than me, but like, unfortunately, like, a part of that is part of it, of selling it. You know, practicality isn't necessarily always sexy. You know, like, so
for sure,
the trains might work, but it's like, how do you sell that? And people see money and blah blah blah, and now people just go to sleep. You know, like,
yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, I've always heard. I remember when we opened up this highway, whatever, it's 130, right? Yeah, 130.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I don't know.
No. Oh, okay. I thought you were just shaking like it sucks.
Yeah, no, I don't know it.
The toll highway. And
Okay.
it's everybody's talking about like it's this big deal and stuff, and I'm almost never use it. One, because I don't want to pay, but I mean like it was. I don't know where it really goes. Like it doesn't go anywhere sexy. Like I've used it when I need to go to Austin in the daytime and I'm running late. And the only reason it's quicker, it's longer in length, but because I can drive 90 legally, it's quicker, like, and then it takes you to about like say 2:30ish kind of Austin exits.
Okay.
But outside of that though, I'm like, this highway doesn't really go anywhere like that we need it to go. That's why it's empty. It's not just the toll.
Like, no, for sure.
Like, it's kind of just.
Well, because if you look at like the Katy Tollway in Houston, that's used from my perspective. I mean, I used it coming over. Yeah. Because it bypasses a lot of the traffic, right? It's efficient. It's effective. Yeah. Right? Like there's a use for it. But yeah, the 1/3 I've never even thought about taking.
Yeah, I've only used it for desperation. Like just times where I just needed to be there on time and I was left late like a fool. I was only in Dallas for a little bit, but they have a tollway too. But it was nighttime, so it was dead. I was like the only car there. But I don't know, man. Texas, save Texas, man. You're involved in this stuff. Save Texas.
Save it?
Yeah.
From what?
No, I mean, make it better.
Oh.
Don't make me use the quote, make things great again.
Oh, God. No, make Texas great again?
Yeah.
No.
What do you think this state needs? I mean, you mentioned that, but what would you say the number one thing it would need, or not need, but like something that can maybe like improve it, and maybe doesn't take a lot of crazy work, like in a whole brand new train system.
Something that can improve Texas doesn't take a lot of work.
Yeah, like that maybe no, because it just might be like stubborn politicians, so it might just be something. Oh, that's what I mean.
Look, Texas is it needs a better education system, right? Like the fact that I think the what's happening in Texas is you have people who we aren't the best in the nation, right? Like probably California has the best systems.
Does it really?
Like, yeah. Right. Like in terms of you got like the Cal State system, and then above that you have the UC system, right? You can throw a dart at a school and you're gonna get a good public university, right? In California, or you're gonna be close to one. Yeah. Right. UCLA, there's Berkeley, there's Davis, there's right. Like you kind of go up and down. And if you're not
speaking
there,
about college, then
yeah.
I mean, I know you're speaking about this, but when you said Texas needs to be better, you were speaking from a
collegiate? from both.
Okay.
Colleges, right? Because what are the two flagships public
in San Antonio?
In Texas.
UT and maybe the Aggies?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, because I don't know.
No, but what are the flagships in California?
Oh, too many?
Yeah, right?
Just listed
like Riverside, there's like...
I don't know Riverside, but I'll know UCLA,
San Diego,
and I'll know USC, and you said Caltech, yeah.
Yeah, like you can just start, there's a bunch, right? And the populations are about the same size, right? They're a little bit bigger, but like we're close. It's not like we're talking about, because they have a lot less people, they can do this, or because they have, no. We're demographically similar. And we're demographically similar when it comes to Hispanics, right? Like you think about LA and San Antonio, right? Like these large in the valley in San Diego and right? Like, so it's not a demographic thing, right? It's a political thing. It's a political will thing. And so what Texas has done, and this is, you can say it's smart or what, right? Like you can go, oh, well, that's a bright idea, because to pay for those public universities, California taxes heavily, right? And we know in Texas there aren't state taxes. And so that means we're going to have to give up something. Well, we give up services, right? And people don't realize it because, you don't know what you don't have if you don't have it, right? So until you compare it to California, you're like, well, they have all these flagship universities, right? Because they put money into it. And they gotten their money from taxes, right? And Texas is like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, that's fine. But what they have done, and the way that they're able, clever or not, right? This is kind of where I go, well, maybe that's kind of clever, but it's also like not helpful, right? is they will draw people in, like their businesses can draw people in who are higher educated than what Texas can produce, because they can draw them in with no state taxes, right? So, hey, say we have Facebook, which is in Austin as well, right? They can recruit the top talent from around the nation that has been educated in probably places like California or the Northeast and Boston, Massachusetts, right? Like these states that have a more tier 1 universities. And they can recruit them, say, hey, you come here, you're going to get paid the same amount or similar than you would in either coast. You don't have to pay any taxes on it. Oh, that's attractive. So Texas is able to draw people in because of that, but they don't have by themselves, right? This whole, like, if Texas seceded, like, they'd be screwed, right? Because by themselves, they don't have the workforce.
Yeah.
Right? They have to recruit outside. And so when you say what policy is working, well, that's a tricky question, because you can say, oh, well, you see, no taxes, it's working because, look, we have a booming economy, or we have whatever, right? Like, we're able to draw in these people. It's like, yeah, but that's because you're dependent upon the other states, right? So, like, California is carrying the whole load. Texas is benefiting from that. And so what's fair, right? Like, this is the way the system is working now. And so, but there's also a point of, K-12 education and being able to educate the citizens well, right? Like, where does Texas fall in the spectrum of, how many people are able to graduate and then send to 4-year universities? And then you consider that, the Hispanic population is growing. And if we are disproportionately educating Hispanics subpar levels, then that's just going to be a problem that kind of compounds on itself, right? So I think, yeah, education is one of those things. But like I said, it becomes a tricky dance because California keeps pumping in the money, or the Northeast does, right? Like, Texas will always have a supply of educated workforce. Not that it created its own.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it's like, okay, but you could kind of keep doing that. But is that fair? I don't, like, that's where the question becomes.
This is a slight change of topic, but obviously I only meet you in college and stuff, but I'm like, I hear you talking now, and just the whole time, like, pretty much when and maybe during UTSA too, because we obviously go down different paths there. But yeah, like how'd you get into like all this stuff? Because I feel like me, I've just always been a kid into the fun stuff like of life,
Yeah.
And like I tend to probably maybe this is what's wrong with the world, like, turn the blind eye to the issues like this because it's not as maybe convenient or interesting to do, to use my time up on this. But yeah, you've always had a passion, you've done the stats on all these things and stuff. And then you showed me graphs of San Antonio. And I think, remember you posted one of like, I think Germans being here, like,
1930s.
Yeah, something like that. So like, yeah, like what led you to this path and interest?
I don't know. That's a deep philosophical question, right? Like, do we why do we like what we like?
Hate
why
the
do
end
we
of this show then? It's just like a combo of these things. I
I don't know. Like, why do I like the things I like? I don't know, right?
Yeah,
like that's kind of out of my control, right? But I do like these, right? Like, and I think like there's that whole nurture nature idea. And just my intellectual intrigue into philosophy, I think helped start that. And just really trying to figure out, well, what is life? Like, why are we here? Like, what is the purpose? What is the meaning? Right?
We took one class together. I feel like you hated that teacher.
I think taking classes in sociology, I always felt like, and kind of circle back to like hip hop, right? I always felt like there was these lyrical truths that were being said by guys like Nas or Jay-Z or Tupac or Biggie, or right? Like that
the
you're
bar
like
history.
Yeah, I know. That you're like, wait, is that real? Or Talib for sure, right? Mos Def, those guys, right? Like,
Yeah.
Is this happening? Because I think growing up in my neighborhood, I saw certain things that I could identify with, right? Like the cops would harass us. I could identify with that aspect of it. But there were other things that I couldn't identify with. And so like having taken sociology, like you start to put like the book truths, right? The research to like what what you perceive happening, right? And so like there's these two like epistemologies, right? That usually people rely on one or the other. But I found like the synergy in taking sociology where it's like there's the street knowledge, right? And that is just as much true as the book knowledge is, right? But people like, I've taken classes with people who've only known the book knowledge. And I just kind of want to say, yeah, that's cool. You know that. But like, do you know that? Right? Have you experienced it? Do you name somebody who's gone through that? And then there's the street knowledge, which at times it feels like it can be, fabricated in some way where it's like, oh, well, hey, look, man, like all I know is that people abuse the welfare system because, and then they point to one person that's doing it. Right. And so it's like, okay, that's limited though. Right. Because there's 100 other people who aren't. But you're going to base your knowledge on the street knowledge of one person, this anecdotal evidence. Right. But I feel like in sociology and in demography, what I've tried to do is really blend the narratives to say what is really true, right? Because if in stats I'm not finding that that somebody's abusing the system, right, taking advantage of welfare, and I'm finding it's really helpful to people. Okay, I want to say that's real. I want to say that's true, but I also want to take light of the fact that someone has abused the system, right, and understand that narrative. Say, okay, there probably are abuses there that we're not seeing, that we're just not finding because we can't, right? Because we're looking at this aggregate data. We're not looking at personal data, or at least some of the time, right? And so I feel like it's all about a quest for knowledge, right? Like, why don't I listen to the shit rap out there, right? Like, because they're not giving me anything that I don't already know. They're not making me think. They're not making me wrestle with what's true.
So you say that, and I agree with that. But I'm trying because, man, I've had a lot of these same debates with my friend Phil, and that's true what you said. But is a part of it because we're old, or
I don't
or
think
is it
so.
just dumb shit? Because it
It's
seems
just-
like
it's
dumb
just-
shit. That's like,
No, here's the thing. Like, I will try. I think this is it, right? Like, I will
Yeah.
try to understand, right? Like the whole dabbing. It's like, okay, that's silly.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
did silly things.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna like be like, oh, that's just dumb. These stupid kids, right?
Yeah.
It's like whatever. That's what they find fun. That's fine.
Yeah.
But like, I'm trying to sit and put myself in their situation. But then when I listen to, like I said, if I do listen to, catch some lyrics, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not saying anything. You're not making me. And I get it, right? You don't always have to think, but like there are times where I just want music that helps me grow as a person, right?
I've always held hip hop to a higher standard because, and this is way before I even did music. So like, I'm just growing up in New York. Like, that's the only thing I would hear, and didn't really know nothing about making music. Yeah, I don't do that till my 20s, but I did know, like, all right, most of these rappers, if not all of them, didn't make their beats. So I was like, if you can't bar it up, what the fuck you doing here? Like that was I used to always
Your
think
word
that.
is all you have.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you can't do that right, so like, and maybe now because I'm older, I definitely want a message. But just when I was younger, I was always gravitated to like, I was heavily gravitated to like a lot of crazy wordplay. Like, to pick a mainstream example, Eminem clicked not so much mainstream back then. Now I hear Chino XL or Cannabis, and because there's so many people doing it and we've just evolved, they're not as impressive. But for the time, those two names and people like Rozcast, like they were doing insane shit with hip hop. Young Keith Murray. So even when they weren't maybe saying things, they were just bending the wordplay so much that, again, it was just still impressive
For sure.
But now, like, like you see these guys, and it's not impressive wordplay. It's very like nursery rhyming, which I've heard in defense of it. Like, man, something like Migos is like going backwards to the 80s, like Grandmaster Flash era, because they look insane. No one dressed like that in the hood but Grandmaster. I don't know why they dressed like that. Maybe that was because it was the 80s, so it was a mix of both of that. But yeah, they're dressing weird, right? And then the rhymes are simple. The only difference is that they're saying a lot of dumb shit. I feel like a generic auto-tune song is, I woke up The order may vary, but anyway, he wakes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes out, kills some people. No, I don't know why. They didn't have beef. Like usually Tupac had a lot of beef.
Yeah.
There's no beef. But like somewhere in that day, some people are gonna die. Some bitches are gonna get fucked. Some pills are gonna get popped. Some lean will be drank. And then wash, rinse, repeat. You know? Like,
Yeah. This is like the epitome of the Andy Sanborn stuff, right?
I don't know. What's that?
I forget. Maybe that's not his last name, but where he does the Lonely Island. Is it
so it's
Island?
the Andy. Is it like one of those? I know the only
the SNL stuff, right? Yeah. Where he's like, I'm a boss, right? Like, and he does like these really outlandish things that can't be done in one day, but he does them anyway, right?
Yeah.
This isn't like I fucked around and got a triple double, right? Like this isn't like Ice Cube's retelling of a story, right? Like this is. I don't believe
what
that,
I just told you is a little Uzi Vert song. I can't say it's every song, but like I remember hearing a song because I told you that song I was singing before. It's a great song, mainly because of the beat. And since he's a kind of auto-tuney singer, you can let it pass by. It's like it just sounds good. But I was hearing another song. Let's try another song from this guy, and I just heard him talk, and everything I told you he did in that song. But then you watch the visuals of it, and he's just at the swimming pool with girls, and I'm like. It was just weird. Like I didn't know what was going on based on what he's talking and what I'm seeing, and I feel like all of them do that, and I'm like, I don't know, like just does it not matter no more?
I think what you're saying, or at least this is what I interpret you saying, is that there's an amount of laziness to it, right? Where Eminem could come out and say the same thing.
Yeah,
but he does it in such a way
at a high level.
It's fascinating.
You're gonna be
it's
dumb,
intriguing.
Do
right, you're gonna
else.
say, but yeah, he's not being dumb. He's just saying, stupid shit.
I'm not saying
right?
he's gonna be dumb, but I mean, like the equivalent would be like, let's say, like I don't know too much about today's basketball, but like I would always say, like I'm super hardcore, so I would be like Russell Westbrook sucks. Does he really suck? No, he doesn't. Of course, he can play basketball. The dude's amazing,
Yeah.
But if we trying to win, like. Maybe that's not the ideal thing, but you know what? It's still hella impressive. Like he's still great at one of the things, So there might not be no substance if you want to say that, but the skill is there,
for sure.
And
that's why, like when Eminem's put out the freestyles he's done on Trump and all that, like that didn't surprise me.
That was so much. Like where did you fall on that argument? Because if you looked at all the comments, the Trump freestyle, just the Trump freestyle, because if you go to Big Sean, he shits on Trump there, but no one gave a shit because he did it in a song. Yeah. But I mean, who wants to hear it in a song? I want to hear it in a parking lot with his whole record label staring at him like all aggressive and shit. Like you better fuck this up, Em, because they only care about you, not us. But if you read all the comments, like a lot of it, I would say most of it was like, this is whack because the obvious thing, politics, or it would be, I agree with the message, but man, his bars are whack. I heard better. So there was a lot of that. I think everybody who does like Eminem or did like the message, they were like, yeah, but I mean, it's like he didn't try for this. It's like he sucked on here.
Yeah, but he didn't write that.
Yeah, I mean, like, and just people were like, I get it. Like it was just for the whole point. And
okay, are they really saying that they heard better freestyle? Like not like I freestyled and I just remembered some of what I wrote. Yeah. Not that freestyle, because a lot of people do that shit.
Well, I think
that's not freestyle in my mind. I don't know where you.
I heard that was a couple of takes. So like, at that point, is it even a freestyle?
Maybe
anymore?
Not. If it's a couple of takes, maybe it's.
Because that's only what I've heard.
But this is a different debate though. Yeah. In terms of what is freestyle. Right.
We don't even need to go down that well.
But
we could go down. Because in 2017, freestyle is a written off the dome. Because you want to see some funny shit?
It should be off the dome.
No, but it's a written off the dome.
No, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I know.
That's my perspective.
But in 2017, it's a written off the dome. I'm not saying that's my thing.
Like 5 Fingers of Death.
Oh, all right. So that's
right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are written off the dome.
What's the homie from the Roots?
Questlove?
No, the rapper, Black Thought. Black Thought and Method Man were there together, and Method Man starts it like they went viral because Black Thought's bars were hard on that. But Method Man was on the cell phone like reading it. He's like, "Excuse me, but I wrote some stuff and I just want to like read it," and it was fire. Like, but Black Thought's killing it. And he's killing it off the dome, written or not. It was like at least impressive. Yeah. But if you want to see, I was gonna use a big word, but in front of you, I don't know if I should use big words because I feel like I might use them wrong. But if you want to see like if you take it to the South, like, or I think he's South. I don't know what he is. Lil Yachty, I almost feel like the South puts him in a corner. But you know Lil Yachty, right?
No.
Or at least doesn't matter. He's probably for your better. Your mind is better. That's why you have a PhD, because you don't even know what the fuck this is that I'm describing to you. This is a person. He's a rapper. like if you're, actually no, he may or may not be a rapper, because he's one of those guys that again we can Google him.
Yeah.
Not a rapper, even though he has a song with Migos, but whatever. But if you check his freestyles, like they're abysmal. Like Ebro has got him to do it. There's one, because the first music I ever listened to that wasn't hip hop and kind of got me into other music was Korean pop music. That's a normal thing now, but when I was doing it, I was a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
But he rapped on a very famous Korean pop beat, and it's just like the beat is playing normal, and he's like, bah, 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 like it's not even. I did it better. Even the little, like I was on tempo, hearing it in my head. Like he wasn't on tempo. Like I wanna play like this one line. Like he said this thing like it was just, if we're gonna take it on substance, it was like something about Dan being angry, and I'm like, who the fuck is Dan? Like it was just like it was just but then he went on another Ebro, the iTunes Ebro show that I've never really heard, because you gotta pay for that Apple service, but they send a lot of clips and he's rapping hard like normal. And I was like, all right, pretty sure that's written based on his own YouTube history of looking of like, because he just stumbles, like he'll just stumble, and like it just looked like someone who didn't know how to rap, and it was like, what's going on here? But now in 2017, like people will go, Funk Flex started doing stuff, because I guess now you need to have freestyles on YouTube. And it just looks like they don't always roll up with the phone, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys are spitting writtens. Like, and I know you want the free, and I wanted that too. Yeah. But I don't know what's happening that like now that we're in the era of anyone can do anything, whether it's good or not. Because I play you some of my songs. Am I good? I don't know, but I like making shit. Yeah. But a lot of these guys who do take music seriously, like they have access to everything too. And enough of them are in power now where like they almost spin it off like being good is bad. You know,
here's what I think, right? Here are some parallels, right? Like you think about NCAA. And the average person is like, oh, that's good basketball. I like the NCAA. Yeah, I like March Madness.
I hate it.
And we are like, no, it's good because it's bad. Yeah. Right? The reason why it's exciting is because a team can blow a 15-point lead in 2 minutes. Yeah. Because it's bad. That's why, right? It becomes entertaining in a weirdly weird way, right? I guess like a car wreck is entertaining if it is.
But I feel like people they really like it. But
they really do like March Madness as well, right?
You're right.
Versus like, you know, NBA guys who are like, no, like this is easily better. Easily, these guys are on a different level. Yeah. And you could see that, right? And I think musically is probably the same thing where like, I feel like it's not about old school, new school type of thing. It's like, no, like we've heard what's really good. We've seen really good freestyles, like, right? Like even people like just, you know, friends that we just see, right? Yeah. We've seen it. And so we know what level people can get to. Yeah. You're not at that level. That's just the bottom line. Maybe it's entertaining because it's that bad, but even then, like, what's his name? Lil B, right? I feel like Lil B fits in that category, right? Like, he's just bad, but because he's bad, he's entertaining for some reason.
All like, the little anybodies,
curses that he puts
all the little anybodyes.
You might put a curse on your podcast if he hears it.
Oh, that's right. Forgot he did that shit. I'll take it. I can retweet that curse. You know,
exactly. Right. Yeah. That's my point. I think the other thing is, you know, I think about someone made this comparison about what someone like Socrates was doing, was freestyling, right? Like where he can go up in front of a council and argue for what is good or argue for the best virtue or whatever it is, right? Like, and do that based off of everything he has known and put it together and synthesize argument. And I think that is the best parallel to what I think a freestyle is, right? It's like, okay, you can pull from your experience and stuff and maybe a line here and there that you've written, but it's ultimately going to be new stuff that no one has ever heard, even yourself, right? Like I'm surprised about what I'm saying because I've never heard it myself, right? And so we're both on this journey together in this really weird way, right? Like, and so to me, that's what the freestyle is, you know, but in hip hop, I hear what you're saying, right? In terms of like what you were making the beats, you were just like spinning records, which is an art form in itself. And that's not to discredit it, but it's like, if you are an MC, like all you have, like the Jay-Z lines, right, is all my balls and my words is all as I have, right? You can shoot at me, but a scar or scab, right? Like,
yeah.
in that sense of like, this is all I got. And so I'm going to come at you with what I got.
Yeah.
Right. And it's making a statement on like, of authenticity, right? Like, because this is all I have. Like, you can do a lot to me, but at the end of the day, I have to rely on my words, right? So you come at my words, like you're coming at my livelihood. And I feel like that's how it was back in the in the day, right? But I feel like that's how it was.
It kind of is back in the day.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like you come at me, you come at my words, you're coming at my livelihood. But now I don't know if that's the same thing, right? And from the Eminem perspective, right? Like, people like it's like one you can. There's so many critics everywhere, right? I feel like that's all comments are, just bad critics, right? There aren't people who are good critics. Like, critique what he said, right? Like, give me what could have been better? What substantively could have been better? Could his flow have been better? Could you have seen him go in a different angle? Could he have revealed something about Trump that we may not have known? Could he have made a different parallel, right? Like, tell me as a critic. Don't just be like, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's like, it's lazy.
A lot of people were just like, it's simple. It was real simple, and like, because he's real slow, then he's just saying, like he's just, it's less. It was more like emotional poetry, if anything. You know what I mean? Because he's just angry, so it's not flowing. He's just and then going and then stop start because he's just so angry that he can't keep going.
But I didn't take it as that. I took it as like he's thinking of the next thing to say because he hadn't written any of it down.
Maybe.
Right, like that's how I took it. Because like to me, as like I could tell if he wrote something down, like he had times where he like messed up and he like starts again, right? Like, and he left that in there, right? Like, so why not acknowledge that, right? Like, why be like
that's just the way we are, like, because I'm like that too. Not with that, but like I love comic book stuff, and like I'll be talking on here, and like The Punisher came out like a week ago. I think it's amazing, but I'm like, I have this list of like, man, maybe we could have done without this, and I don't know. I've heard a lot of, that's not to say the world is this way, because the world isn't necessarily doing like music or anything, but that just might be a creative problem, because anytime we see anything, we're supposedly, we always think, well, we could have done it this way. And maybe they just feel that way too, even if they aren't creative, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's neither here.
Plus, maybe that's not just a macro society thing. We always see the negative in everything first. Because I'm really trying hard to see the positive in everything, because of the whole mindset thing and like how perception can affect our own self-narrative and
for sure. But stuff. Like, okay, so my perspective of the whole thing was like, it was heartfelt. It was what I think a lot of people are feeling about Trump. And he was white, so people heard it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. The same thing with Macklemore.
That's
right?
what
like,
a lot of
he's
people
white
said.
because people hear
it was
him
important because he's white, so that
it
can get the message not to us, but to the people who don't listen.
Exactly, right. And I felt like he was, the way I understood what he was doing, he was battle rapping Trump, right? Because in a battle rap, I had somebody critique the last part of it, say, "Oh, see, that's the problem of divisiveness in this country." It was like, if you voted for Trump, fuck you too, right? And he's like, and fuck Trump. It's like, yeah, but you only say that in a battle rap, right? We're like, man, fuck your mom, right? Like, he's like, oh, right? Shit like that, where it's like, yeah, but you don't, did he really, like, I don't know how he meant it, right? But like in the sense of like, it's your turn. Now you have the mic, right? Because Trump has had the mic this whole time. This is kind of the rebuttal, right? And so, yeah, I don't know.
That's good stuff right there. But most people ain't going to think of it like that. The person complaining about it probably doesn't even like rap to begin with.
Yeah, but that's the thing. As a comic book fan, you can critique the Punisher in a different perspective. As an NBA fan, we can be like, man, the Bulls suck. Right? like individually, each one of those players would kick our ass on any day, right? On a court. We're not saying that as like they
comparing them to each other and stuff that. Or just different strats.
Yeah. We just be like, that team is not a good team at the NBA level. They wipe the floor with any college team, but at the NBA level, just not a good team. You know. But we understand that, right? And I think some people don't understand that. Where they're like, oh, he sucks. They think like because Russell Westbrook is not playing defense or he's not winning and takes bad shots here and there, right? Oh, he sucks. They actually think that they could take him. Like, no, you can't, right? Like you can't take him.
Same thing. I love shitting on Carmelo Anthony. That was like a passion of mine. And it's like I know he's obviously good too. Yeah. But I feel like other people, I think they either one think he's is good, and I'm like, no, he's not good for the game of winning basketball. Or two, like, yes, he does stuff. I'm like, he doesn't really suck stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like if your goal is to win and have maybe a team, like, well, he probably does suck. Yes. But he can play. I mean, I've seen it. Mm-hmm. The legend of Hoodie Mello, lives on. He only lives on in practice. That's the problem. That's we gotta change the rules, man. If they can change the NBA basketball mid-season, remember the ball.
Yeah.
I was cutting my hands.
That was Steve Nash. Right?
Yeah.
Come on, you're not cutting your hands.
If you can change the basketball mid-season, shit, I had a brain for it. What was it? Just
Melo can wear
he can wear his fucking hoodie. Dude. Bring that hoodie. Just put it team colors. It can't be black. I don't know if that's a thing. Because I seen him still wearing a black hoodie, and that's not a Thunder color at all. Not that it was a Knicks color either, but I'm like, yeah, just give him a blue.
Maybe it's a social justice thing where the cops should start shooting at him.
Oh, shit.
Too soon.
Yeah, too tsunami. It's too real right there. Oh, man. All this hip hop talk we've been doing. I remember earlier this year on one of the earlier podcasts, I criticized Kendrick, right? Because he was going on. I've changed my mind since.
I'm about to say because he called himself the King of New York.
Oh hell no! I was like, I get it, they suck. But that was the control verse. That was like long ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. Like, dude, like, this is not even what I was gonna say, but fuck it. Like, Cardi B, right? I hear she has this hit song. I'm like, from the Bronx. I'm like, all right, let's see what my people are doing. Heard that song, and the first thing I thought, like, even though it was a trap song, I was like, she's surprisingly much better than I thought she was gonna be. That was one. But then the second part was sadness because she sounded just like Atlanta. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, like, that's what we got to do to get on the map? Like, we got to just do what they're doing. Like, we got nothing. And then when, like, later on find the origins of that song, one of these guys, I don't know, like, he did an interview with, like, a whole entire, like, bag over his head or some weird shit.
This is what you
Kodak Black.
That's what you should have done.
Kodak Black.
I should be talking to a bag right now.
You should, but nah, Kodak Black. You probably don't know nothing about this because you don't know none of these guys.
Yeah.
Kodak Black. So her song, what is it? Bodak Yellow is pretty much just I don't know what the song. It's not a remix, but maybe her own interpretation of a song that guy did already. Mm-hmm. So I was like, not only does it sound like the South, everything came from the South. The flow, what they talking about. So I'm like, none of it is ours. I'm like, and there's a whole fleet. I never liked the ASAP crew because I think if you go through their discography, it's not all South, but man, a lot of the hits,
even ASAP Rocky,
like they just all had a vibe like that felt.
Anything's better than that One Train. You don't fuck with One Train even?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck you talking about. I just never liked the ASAP boy. But you know what? I got there's songs that I do like from him because they're just good songs.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it's just not my vibe. And then some of these younger kids that might be in their 20s or there's some in the 16s, like Reigns from New York. Like people Boogie with the hoodie. I'm blowing that name because I think he has like 2 letters in front, like H Boogie with the hoodie or some shit. And there's a bunch of guys. But when I hear their shit, it just sounds like Southern music. And I'm like, man, is that the only way we gonna come back? Like, was Joey Styles, that's a wrestler thing. Was Joey Badass an anomaly? And even he's changed already. But he had most of his career sounding like he was a time travel guy. Mm-hmm. And now, the second, I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear his new album, American Badass?
A little bit of it.
The first half is kind of but then the single had like I'm singing choruses. I'm here. It's 2017. Let's go. But you know what? After song 6, it does get really hard. I was super impressed. And there's a bunch of cats I don't even know except for there was one OG on there. But I was like, it was just boom bap, like real. But outside of him, like everybody else is like, they're just like ride the South train.
I want to hear your critique of Kendrick.
Okay. He performs at Coachella. That's pretty much his 2017 season. That's where it starts.
Okay.
It comes out the weekend. The album comes out, damn. And I'm like, I'm ready. They're streaming Coachella.
Yeah.
I recorded that shit. I was like, let's do it. And I loved it. Actually, no, I didn't love it. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
This isn't the critique, but I actually saw him 2 ACLs ago.
Okay.
So I used to call him like, yo, this guy is the #1 jazz artist because he's doing more for jazz than jazz artists are doing, just because he has a bigger platform.
Yeah.
So the bands, I love the band. I love anytime real hip hop takes a band out there because it's just more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Band is still there, but for the purposes of this, and I sort of get why, but it feels kind of whack. The band is never seen, and that's this tour. You only see him. The band is never seen. But that's my real critique. My real critique is he brings out Future, and he brings out Travis Scott, and I think that's all for that night. But then throughout the year, we get Goosebumps. We get the No Mask remix. And he won me over. Even just recently, Rich the Kid remix came out. I don't know if you know who that is. I don't even know who that is either, but I know who that is because Kendrick's on there.
Gotcha.
But it's all these Southern style things. Or who's the Mike Will Made It put out an album with, and there's an all-star song with all these Southern people, and then Kendrick shows up. And at first, it was kind of irking me, like, why are you rapping with these guys, dude? Mm-hmm. But now, especially after hearing Damn and stuff, it felt kind of like Jesus going with the sinners. That's what I think of Kendrick.
Dang.
That's what I think.
All right.
So like he won me over.
Okay.
So because it feels like these guys have a platform that I don't have.
Yeah.
And not that he's necessarily trying to bring it because he's already fine.
Yeah.
But if I go and because except for that Rich the Kid verse was the first time where he sounded like them. And I was like, it's a super intelligent version of them, but he sounded like them, talking about the same money. But normally, you heard Mask Off remix?
Mm-mm.
All right, so
I'm gonna have to listen.
But you know Future Mask Off, right? Mask Off, fuck it, Mask Off. So it's a hot beat, and he's doing future-y things, which is nothing. Talking about being on drugs again. Apparently, that's his thing, right? I haven't heard his discography, but apparently, it's all about being depressed and shit. So hooray! But he does the remix is nothing new except that the second verse omits Future and throws Kendrick in there, and it's super long. Like just like fuck the normal like format that Future did. He's just like, I got things to say. I'm gonna say it, and then we can go. And then you can go back into the court, and it's hilarious. But he almost flips the mask off concept of like you taking your mask off, and he's like preaching it pretty much, but like hip hop bars doing the trying way too hard from the flow format and all the layers that he throws into a recorded verse. And then like I felt like all those songs he goes on there and I'm like, all right, I got over it because he would go on there, do his lyricism thing. Yeah. Something like Mask Off was like hilarious to me because I'm not gonna do it justice because I don't memorize things and I don't hear things lyrics for growing up. I heard things lyrics first, but I don't do that necessarily now, except for people that make me pay attention, like a Kendrick. But it felt like a contrast to everything Future is saying on that same song. And they performed that song live at the BET Awards. And it's just hilarious. Like, how does like no one see this? How does Future not see this? That like this man is going on your own song.
This is like the T-Pain thing, right? With,
like
what was it, Jay-Z?
Like, he's going on your own song and like almost like protesting in your song. And you're like happy about it. And it's like
definitely the T-Pain.
Yeah.
Jay-Z,
First off, yo, Kendrick, he did this after Good Kid, Mad City. He did this. Yo, if you're inviting Kendrick to your song, like, beware, he's gonna steal the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
here's
a beast.
Okay,
but that was my main.
This is how I feel about some. I'm gonna just say this.
Yeah.
So I feel that I enjoy Kendrick. I really do, and so maybe the analogy is not gonna hold up very well.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Lupe Fiasco is our generation's Dominique Wilkins.
Damn. I met that dude, so I don't like him. Like, I don't really like him, but he just kind of like shunned me because he was eating. And you know, to be fair, I didn't notice he was eating. But it was like because he became a Street Fighter player. Yeah. So I met him at one of those events. So I just kind of just the way he told me off, I was just like, damn, son. Like, but anyway, continue.
Yeah. All right. Personal
beefs, you know.
When
I'm mad, I'll make a diss record for him.
Personal beefs aside.
Yeah. He's all right. I never got into him, but I know he's good. He's not whack. He's obviously real good. He's just not my taste.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Because or even Clyde, right? You can pick either one.
For
Clyde
sure.
Drexler or Dominique
Yeah.
to Jordan.
He didn't get traded yet, though. Your guy, Lupe. He didn't get traded yet, like Clyde, to get that champion.
But I think so. For me, I feel like if you were to take a poll, people would say Kendrick is better.
Yeah.
Like from a lyrical perspective, I don't think anybody's has ever been better than Lupe. Right? Like
is he like your all-time GOAT?
Yeah.
Oh shit, let's go.
Yeah, right. Like and I fuck a lot with Jay-Z, right?
Yeah,
he's my boy, right? Like in that like.
Is that hard for you? Like being here and being like a Jay-Z
with
boy?
Jay-Z? Why?
Yeah, I just feel like because this is like Houston's only 3 hours away and stuff, and like for Jay-Z to be your guy, like I just feel like that wouldn't be everybody else's guy here.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. Yeah. But like I never really got that much in Tupac or right like that kind of thing. And listening back, I feel like Biggie was better, right?
Yeah,
like that kind of idea. But yeah, like for me, it's like Jay-Z's like my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
But like I know that Lupe is lyrically better, right? And
do you like his songs just as much, or you just know the talent is better?
I know the talent is better.
Okay.
Right? Like and there's certain songs, but here's the thing, like I don't really like as much of Kendrick's production, except for maybe Damn, right? Like and parts of Good Kid, Mad
That's
City.
Interesting.
Right? Like I felt like Kendrick is behind in the production. I feel like whoever is producing him. Oh yeah, I don't know who you know. No one's gonna listen to this, but whoever's producing him, I felt was holding him back.
Fuck my podcast.
Right? Yeah.
Fuck my-
I felt like it was holding them back, right? And I always felt also that Lupe just didn't give a shit about production.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and even when he becomes produced, I feel like he's overproduced. Right? When you think about like Lasers, right? Like I feel like that
I know he
album
did the
was
mixtape where he just started using dubstep and stuff. And I know a lot of hip hop fans weren't feeling that. I found it weird because I knew all those songs already. And I just didn't want to hear it with Lupe on it. But I know the pure hip hop fans were like, "What is this?"
But like, okay, like what he does in murals.
Yeah.
No one.
I mean,
can
I'm
touch
not even
that.
familiar with the album, so I won't even.
Like, well, the song,
Yeah.
right? Like, no one can touch that. I mean, like he paints a lyrical mural, right? Like, and from a poet's perspective, right? Like, as a poet, I just appreciate the hell out of that. Right. Or even like what he does in, take personifying the robot as a ghetto and like really just using all of that poetically. I don't think Kendrick gets at that level. Right. I think Kendrick is good with his delivery and his flow, and it's just like, I'm the king of New York. Fuck,
He
I'm like a
tries
Muslim on
more
board.
on
Right?
a recorded flow than like anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because he'll put all those layers and things that most people are just like, okay, I'm gonna rap. They rap, they done.
Yeah,
But he's
no,
doing
for
voices
sure.
and
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah.
Kind of the way a singer would approach it, you know?
Fine, right? But like, I feel like if I were gonna trust somebody with my life to come up with a killer bar, right? Like at 16, I'm going with Lupe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because he would confuse the shit out of the aliens where like you kill them. Or something. But yeah, like so, I've always wondered about where Lupe will place in terms of hip hop fans.
I feel like he's probably gonna get omitted, dude.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's our
he
generation's
didn't get
Dominique, because Dominique was
How about
a
this?
top 25 NBA
about
player at
this?
the time. Wait, let me
No,
finish this.
fine.
I have my
Keep going,
Shaq
keep
shit
going.
to do,
Oh
right?
my gosh, you gonna bring Shaq
yes.
into this?
Dominique was a top 25 player when that list came out, the top 50. Shaq got on that damn list after being like, with the Magic, he got on that list.
Remember he's the one that didn't show up?
Yeah, he's the only one and I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I was about to go
I knew
there.
you were going there. You never let that go.
No, because Pistol Pete Maravich's kids were there. Like post-mortem, he was there, right? Like, and Shaq is out filming Kazam, right? Like, or whatever he was filming.
Dog.
But Dominique wasn't on there.
Yeah.
How dare you not put Dominique? Human
I'm
highlight,
surprised
though.
you didn't shit on Scottie Pippen, because I know that's another guy you like to take off.
Yeah, I think having looked more about the stats, see what he did in Houston, I think helps his
Like, I got this
resume and all that.
PhD. I understand that shit now.
Yeah, okay.
I see.
I can see Scotty, but not over Dominique. I can't see Scotty either, right? But I feel like the person that really took his place was Shaq.
Yeah.
Either way, right? Like,
How many years has he been in the league then?
He was still with Orlando.
So that's real.
Yeah. Or he had just got traded to the Lakers. Like
maybe
one of the
that
two.
was like
he was,
a 4. Like that's a gamble for sure.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah,
and he's on it now, right?
But
like,
I mean, what if he goes the Grant Hill path? I mean, then it's
or
kind of
Grant
like,
Hill. I was thinking more of the like Odin path or something.
Oh man, no, because Odin didn't even get those
That's true.
those
He
good
didn't
years,
even
you know.
get- That's true. Yeah.
What
Grant
if he
Hill
won
path.
the Grant? Yeah, like now
Yeah.
you just put this guy on. Yeah, that I
Anyway,
see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I do feel that in terms with Lupe, right? Like where I feel like Dominique was doing the dunks that Jordan was doing, probably if not better.
yeah.
But he didn't get the recognition because he didn't have the gold chain while he did it with his tongue out. Right? I feel like Kendrick has his tongue out with the gold chain, but Lupe doesn't. Right?
So let me ask you this then, because there's a lot of places we can go with Kendrick, because that's the only new rapper I like. If
I'll
say
probably
new.
agree with that.
Yeah, if we're gonna say like, because he's newer than Lupe for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So like, well, in terms of because he's newer than Lupe for sure. But why? And I'll use him here because I was gonna throw him in your thing. But why? I call Kendrick Lamar an anomaly in today's hip hop because like, why does he get to be as successful? This year is the real year that he's really successful.
Yeah.
Why does he get to be successful doing, we're going to say real hip hop or whatever you want to call that, real shit?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't work for none of you guys. It didn't work for Lupe.
Talib.
It didn't work for Talib. It didn't work for
Most.
Common. Common only gets it because Kanye blessed his ass.
Yeah.
But by then he had already done like Water for
Yasin
Chocolate.
Bey didn't work for Yasin.
So like, why did it work for him? Is it Dr. Dre didn't even support him from a frontal area.
Yeah.
Like he just like do stuff.
Yeah.
And someone gave me it's not you.
When did Dre start producing him?
I'm gonna say never. He executive produces him.
Okay.
But like, dude, I think he only does
commercials.
The last beat. Yeah, exactly. I don't even think he does the last beat. He raps on it with him because he's taking his timeline and that's when he makes it there. But on the bonus disc, which no one ever counts, right?
Yeah.
He did that beat. That's his production. Like, that's it. That's the end of the Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre era in terms of music, not in terms of financials and shit. But it's like,
even to boost your argument or your question, right? Like, Kendrick was on the non-major stuff. He was on the independent label. Still is.
Yeah, he top dog.
Yeah. And from what I know, like Lupe was signed
for real.
Yeah. Right when he put his stuff
out. Because he did it in a different time because they weren't independent. Really wasn't rising like that.
Yeah. But to boost your argument, right? Lupe would have had the more clear advantage if you're thinking about it in that regard.
I mean, maybe because I can't. Where did he start out with? Was it Jive or somewhere else? Because
I don't remember.
Being with Dre. Even though, umbrella of like four other labels, but being with Dre is a person who cares about hip hop. So even if he is going to be on the sideline,
that's true.
He cares about hip hop. And that I feel like Lupe was on a real label. So,
well, Lupe, I think his first on the scene was Kanye, right?
Did he touch him too? But
he
wasn't on
it
good
was
music.
Touch the Sky.
No, but what I mean by touching is that Common like got brought into.
Oh,
good music.
yeah.
He didn't get brought into the label for
getting
touched on a song. Is a different story versus like he did the Common a solid pretty much by bringing him on, and that kind of changed.
But Common was good before.
But this is what I'm saying. But the world didn't recognize.
That's true. Yeah.
So I just wonder, like, why does the world care about Kendrick doing this? Yeah, I mean, I'm more to that question. Like, why does the world care? Because all these other people did it. Does he do it the best? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe a lot of people probably would say no, but. In this era where the opposite of him is the dominant factor. Did
he start beef with the right people and get more publicity? Because I feel that control beat, like that
he's
control
already
stuff, like
in it. He's not the god. He's not as mainstream, I guess, but he's already in it by that point. Like, and start beef with the right people. Like, so would that be what Big Sean, Drake? And Jay Electronica?
Drake,
if we're gonna keep it to the
Drake
track,
for sure.
Jay Electronica doesn't count, and I know Big Sean. He's just because look, this man still has. I read somebody famous. He might have been another rapper. He took a pop shot at Jay Electronica. Like, how you in the game? Like, let's say 11 years. I don't know how long. Yeah. You didn't do one album yet? What the fuck you wasting our time for? He was like, really. This is the angriest. Like, give me some music I ever seen in my life. But yeah, so Jay Electronica, like. There's people who heard that song who probably still didn't know who the Jay Electronica
True.
was on it. Big Sean, I've heard that I guess he gets to be in that Drake stratosphere, but I'm like,
he's a little
lyrically,
bit under
I
that.
don't care. And I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe he's just selling as much as them? I don't know. But so like starting people, like
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I just wonder, like,
Is
why?
it his delivery? Is it just more up front?
Is that what it is? Like, is it because he does the extra effort in the voices?
Well,
Like,
it could be that, like, I don't know. Maybe people. Like I said, I personally didn't like a lot of his production on this first couple of albums.
you starting with Good Kid?
Before that.
Okay. That one's the true indie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like the free album, the Section 80.
Section 80.
Yeah. So I understand why people, because that type of sound, you got to kind of like underground hip hop to be into that. Good Kid definitely sounds like a form of a return to the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
To Pimp a Butterfly, I love that album when it first came out, and probably still do. But the love part was because I was like, yo, there's all this jazz shit going on. This is awesome. So that's almost like a tribute to where hip hop came from.
Yeah.
And I just love jazz music in general. Like my group, like all jazz musicians was my group.
Is it I'm just throwing out theories here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is it because in Kendrick, I feel like he has a narrative with his album. I don't feel like
all
Lupe
of them say
did.
shit. Yeah,
like,
I
don't feel like
all
Lupe
concepts.
did.
I never grew up in the West Coast, but like, dude, that reminded me of so much of my own childhood. The Good Kid, Mad City.
Mm-hmm.
To Pimp a Butterfly. While none of us can connect with that because we're not famous rappers.
Yeah.
But it's a great picture of what he was going through, and like the higher he climbed, like maybe like personal struggles, and maybe now family being like, man, like you suck because you're never here. And it's funny, did a podcast yesterday, and we have a mutual friend, and that guy, he's not fully famous yet, but he's on a label now doing some things like and I was like, yo, I'm super happy for that guy, but the only thing I'm sad about is I feel like I lost my friend. So I'm not malice like some of the Pimp the Butterfly. Well, fuck you, my guy's dying. Where you at?
Yeah.
But I'm always like, man, I kind of relate to that. But I'm the guy being not angry, but like, man.
Well, I mean, dude. Like even as I think about, like, as you're talking about, why the Kendrick? Because think about Jay-Z. He had to do Big Pimpin'.
Yeah,
he had to do girls,
UGK,
right? Like, he had to do a lot of that stuff, and he even admits, right? Like, that he had to do that in order to get heard and get sold. It's like, right, like making these choices about being poor versus, if I help the poor, if I'm one of them, right? I got rich and gave back. To me, that's the win-win, right? Mm-hmm. Like what he says on in the Black Album, right? Like, and so versus Nas, who never went that route. Well, maybe there's Uchi Wally and stuff like that, but they never really got right. Like,
it's just his songs weren't necessarily the most fun. So we blocked them out in our heads. He tried it. Though.
He tried it, right? He tried it, but like before that, he didn't, right? Like his first album was just straight hip hop, right? Like it was just straight. But then he
starts to change real quick,
But I'm thinking about, like, Kendrick never had to do any of that.
Now, when I was telling you about him doing a Jesus thing, you can almost argue maybe sort of does it as he's featuring
the Jesus thing.
Well, I told you he's appearing on all these like crazy loser tracks, like.
Okay.
So like maybe that's where he, if you want to say, sells out in his features, like maybe so like. As the year goes by and blah blah blah, people hearing Future, blah, maybe he's always in their mind subconsciously. So maybe when he does an album, like, oh yeah, I know what a Kendrick is. Like, maybe that's the thing, because Lupe never went on tour. Like, and when I mean that feature tour, because I feel like every time there's an album, did a Pimp the Butterfly era too. Like, just except for the debut, like he does an album and then he's like, all right, time to work, and he just starts appearing on everybody's album for some reason. So
the features then.
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing.
I could see that.
Maybe
because then you get a broader scope of your audience. Yeah, when you're on the features.
And it's always these weird people, like, dude, he had a track with The Weeknd, and I forgot about The Weeknd once he rapped, because it was hilarious, because there's like, you can divide that verse into like 2 or 3 sections, and he's like, okay, in section 1, I'm gonna illustrate this type of lyrical technique, and still it's 2, and I'm like, dude, this is an R&B song. And you're over here like, let me get my 5 minutes in. He's just like, I'm going to show you every trick I can do. And I was like, I don't even want to hear the rest of the song because you like killed it. And it's like, Now this guy went back to singing, and I'm like, who gives a fuck about that? You know, like, but it was just funny because like it's an R&B song, and he's kind of like the rapper version of the criticism of the shredder guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, like do what's best for the song instead of showing everybody what you can do. I mean, I like it, but that's his.
Yeah. Okay.
Approach.
Like, and you take so you
On a
take
feature.
guys like right. So, yeah, just feature right. Like, but I think about like even J. Cole, right? Like Cole was like featured and done that kind of thing, but he's also like very like production wise, is I feel like just toned down. Like I don't really care if you like listen to this music, I'm gonna make it. But he's also going on big tours, right? And Lupe really hasn't, like from what I've seen. So I've been to 3, I think, and probably a little bit more than that. I've been to Big Sean's concert as well. When I was
really
dumb. But Jay-Z,
I only like one Big Sean song, No Interviews. That's a real good song.
That's great for your podcast.
That's gonna be his response when I reach out to him in like a year.
Yeah, exactly. So Jay-Z, J. Cole, and Lupe, right? These are the guys I've seen live. Both Jay-Z and J. Cole are like these bigger stadiums.
Yeah.
And Lupe is like in this concert hall, like and barely filled. Out of the 3, like Jay-Z is the most fun. Right, I go. You're gonna have a great time.
Wait, which era is this?
Any. Like I mean, recently, right? Like you're just
you
like,
did go to the 4/4 tour?
I didn't, but
Okay.
like
Okay.
his the previous album, right? Like, and it's just like no, like he's gonna throw a good show. You're gonna get entertained. Lupe, I just feel so inspired. Like that boy went up at 8:00. You know, doors at 7.
Yeah.
Concert 8. You don't show up at 8.
Yeah.
You should if you're gonna go to a Lupe concert.
Yeah.
That boy went on at 8, and I had to leave because I had to get to work in the morning. But he was on at midnight.
Performing a whole discography.
Yeah, he was on at midnight when I left.
He's out there
and he
providing
was going.
value. He's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just like what, and like, and the fact he did Mural live. This is like a 10-minute just spitting bars straight through live.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, like this boy is super talented, right? Like much respect. It's just like I need to go right because I'm inspired. But yeah, like I think about like you were talking about new artists, right? J. Cole is another favorite of mine, right? Like, because I feel like
I cannot get into him at all.
And I can see why. I really can.
Why?
Right?
Why? Let me hear. I'm trying to understand it, yo. I'm trying because he gets my okay. I respect this guy. He is good. Don't vibe with him at all. And I don't know why. I feel like that happens to me and a lot of New Yorkers. And I always end up siding with the West.
Are you expecting something from New York?
Make real shit. You know? Like
what? J. Cole's making real shit.
I don't know. Maybe Biggie and Jay-Z set me up in a way that I can't. Wu-Tang, all that.
Fair
shit.
enough. Fair enough.
See how that makes sense? Nah, but I respect. Yeah, J. Cole makes beats too, so that's cool. And that whole album with the address, like I respect the narrative of it, you know, like, but it just never connects with me. And I remember when he does the Black Friday exchange, and my friend Phil was like, because he would always hear me rag on J. Cole, like playfully. Again, I know he's good, but I would always shit on him, and like a lot of people would talk. It's like, man, I always hear this shit. Put on this. He doesn't keep up with today music, so I'm like, put on a Kendrick song, put on J. Cole song. He tells me, so I play both of the Black Fridays. Kendrick goes first, and it's just him like murdering that beat, you know, like it's just bars. There's no chorus or nothing. And then the J. Cole rap song is gonna be all right, right? He's rapping on that beat, and it's a song. It has a chorus and everything. Yeah. And my friend, he stops it after verse 1. He's like, he's like, I see where this is going. And he's like, you're right. Because I mean, it was very normal. It was like kind of relaxed and like, and he's kind of like. Damn, I was gonna do something blasphemous and like compare him to me, but like, but he's like he's doing the right thing because he's telling stories about himself. Like I used to always rag on him the first 2 years because every other album, the first 2 years, I feel like thematically every other song would be like, "Yo, this is crazy. I met Jay-Z. I'm rapping. Wow, life is amazing." Man, I really like Nas. You know, like, and he would do that. Like I feel like that was like a theme of his early years, you know? And I was like, that is cool. Why am I still hearing about this? Like, you've been on tour already, you know? I just never vibed with it. I don't know why. And the Kendrick stuff, like maybe like being into prog music and adventurous music, like is more adventurous from a subject matter standpoint, you know, like fucking Damn was weird to me at first because Damn I would join you and like fuck wants to hear any of these beats. His beats are ass. I'm only here because Kendrick's here, you know. His beats suck, you know, like but I end up liking him over time because, you know, he's the shit and he's doing some stuff. But then you hear the theme of it and he's like, yeah, this is mostly like, I want to say his uncle's beliefs, his uncle's religious beliefs. Like that's that whole album. It's not even his beliefs. It's just like, let's do that and I'll tie it around this whole like what could have happened thing with me, you know, like if my dad died, you know, and stuff like that because of my record label owner, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I just always saw him go. He's just always going fucking hard. Like he was. I guess maybe he just mastered for me personally, mastered the balance of like combination of going hard while still like keeping the song interesting. And sometimes we might get a lot of our lyrical heroes get maybe so verbose that unless that's what you about, you ain't gonna pay attention.
Well, for sure. I mean,
you know?
you get lost with Lupe, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not you, like you, but
yeah.
like general, you know. And
I mean, you telling me it's 10-minute song murals, and I can see mad people.
Yeah.
Does the beat change at least a lot? No. Oh,
yeah.
damn.
It's just like it's just going.
Yeah.
And it's a great track, right? Like I said, I don't think anybody's ever done anything like that. You know, not that I've heard of, right? It's probably somebody like at home. What are you doing that?
For sure.
But you know, like poetically, you know, he's there. And maybe that's the thing, right? Like it's like at times I feel like I can get a little bit lost with Kendrick. And maybe it's because of the production. I don't know. Like at times, like if I have to be in the mood to listen to Kendrick.
I feel like a lot of people do.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is, you know, and but yeah, at the end of the day though, right? Like we're comparing greats.
Yeah.
You know,
But
like
still,
we're talking about the NBA's greatest 50.
Yeah.
About
it's the good argument, and
yeah,
it's not the like today argument that's had. I'll end this part with like, even though I know this is gonna bow down, but this will be the last thing, and then I'll take it to the life question so we can get you out of here. But Ice Cube, he said earlier this year, they asked him about the today hip hop and what's wrong and stuff, and he was like, ignorant hip hop was always there, but there was always like a spectrum of equilibrium. And the only thing is that now, like, they don't want to push that out there no more. You know, like now it's just all of it is this ignorant shit, or
like
95%. And yeah, and he was basically saying like, it was kind of alluding to like that whole like if you watched enough hip hop documentaries and you hear like these guys tell if they come up, like Ice-T removes his cop killer off because he's like, dude, I'm getting letters from the president and the FBI. Like, I'm trying to make music. Like, why the fuck are these people in my life? You know? Prodigy talks very paranoid because he says a lot of crazy shit from Mobb Deep, but it's not just him. Like there's a bunch of people, but particularly the more you go to the lower 90s to the late 80s, they talk about FBI and CS and the CIA investigations on them because anything that can create a movement of people need to be monitored.
For sure.
And a lot, especially in the early 90s, you get Brand Nubian and Public Enemy and stuff like that. So like the message is strong of rebellion, you know, and chains. And it makes me think that like, I don't know if it's the labels or whoever or some government back under shit.
Yeah.
But like maybe you put that stuff, this ties around. I was having the debate. I'm gonna tie it all together somehow. But this ties. Someone in New York today posted like about saying the N-word and white people and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think what they're doing is necessarily right, but I'm like, you can't expect them to do something different if all they're being fed is glorification of it or overuse of it, you know, especially with today's hip hop, with the South and shit. And it's the same thing reverse in that like we can't keep feeding them Public Enemy or maybe not hip hop, but hip hop is Rage Against the Machine because people are really gonna want change. So if we feed them dumb, drugged up bullshit, even if you ignore party stuff, just call it escapism. If we feed them fun shit, well, then they won't want to change nothing because life is great. So that like, yeah. Well, why did good hip hop run away? You got anything?
Well, yeah. Well, I've done a study, right? Like I don't know. You've
I've
probably
seen
some of it.
Is it the lyrical, the simplification of hip hop?
Yeah. Right. Where as time goes on, the tracks that are getting in the Billboard's charts, if that's and I think it has been kind of this litmus test of what is popular, right?
Yeah.
Then what you see is that less independent labels for sure. And the lyrical content is simpler, right? More less unique words in a song and shorter word length, right? So just dumber and more simple, right? And that's what's popular, right? Like, and so to the extent that it's popular because it's what the people want, or do people want it because it's popular? I feel like I'm asking Youth of Frozen Dilemma,
or is it the artist,
right?
Do you always hear it in marketing? Is it because they realize that's the way to get the most people? I hate that, but I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying, right? Like this, it's akin to Youth of Frozen Dilemma, right? Like, is it pious because the gods love it, or is it do the gods love it because it's pious, right? It's just kind of like I don't know, but I don't think people have changed, right? Like if people were buying and listening to kind of more revolutionary stuff, then I don't think people have drastically changed overnight, right? Like I think there's something about the marketing, something about like you're talking about, how the commodification of the culture has led to what messages get put out. Because it is a powerful tool. You know, my balls and my words is all I have, right? Like it's the most powerful tool. And if it's going to cause change, or it's going to cause people to question, then you need to but it's not like the Illuminati, right? It happens. I feel like these agents act in these very rational and independent ways, but it leads to this macro kind of behavior, right? When you have labels making decisions on whose music to sell or who to sign or whatever, and what gets put out, what gets popular, what gets at in a club or whatever, what people like, then I think like, individually, if I'm a label, I'm gonna sell, right? And if all the other labels are doing the same decision, then we end up with a bunch of shitty music.
Yeah.
Talib released an album recently.
There are a lot of the OGs. I feel like the Locks are on this weird path of like individually collaborating with rappers. Jadakiss just put out an album with Fabulous.
Okay.
Talib put out an album with, if it wasn't Jadakiss as well, it was maybe Styles. One of them. One of those guys. But I'm like, why is this happening? But it's happening. So I don't know. It's so, man. There's so many other hip hop things I would like to talk to you about, but we gotta get it moving real quick. Do you know who Russ is, or what Russ is, the rapper? All right, I'm just curious. This is a new question that I added that I don't know where to put it in these questions coming up. So right now I just asked it first till I find better placement for it. But what is the one thing you believe that other people think is crazy? Lupe Fiasco, right? Next.
I don't know. Did we land on the moon? It's legit. Really? That's a legit thing. Yeah. That's a real question. And it's one of those things I kind of believe because it's fun. But I feel like, the big question, we never went back. There's it, right? There's this big
selling us a narrative.
Yeah, right. There's this big space race, and we gotta fight communism, whatever. You gotta, right? Like, or socialism, whatever the hell they were fighting.
Yeah.
So we gotta prove that we're better, that the American way is better, right? And we got to the moon. Like, we actually did it. We never got back. But that's fine. Like, we don't need to go back, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you think that we would have advanced, right? Like in our technologies and our abilities, and like we can send rovers and stuff like that. And maybe there's not a need, right? There's not a need.
Was there ever a need?
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's never a need. Right. And And I don't know, like that's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, well, like some people might think that's crazy, but I'm like,
I mean, it
I wouldn't
makes
be
sense.
shocked.
Of course,
I wouldn't be shocked if
I
it was like
understand
it wasn't
why-
real.
Yeah, I understand why people would think it was crazy, but at the same time, it's like we hold these truths to be true because someone told me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
this isn't a flat
Yeah,
Earth
yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't where mounds of evidence
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
It's like no, like there's a few documents.
I'm not even
There's
gonna get
like
into the flat Earth thing.
yeah, right, yeah. Or it's like
like-
this happened at a time that verifiability is limited, right? Like
yeah.
you didn't have a bunch of cameras. You didn't have like a bunch of things. You had one station or two stations that were. So it's easy to manipulate that.
Yeah. Well, it's coming. Part 2 is coming again via private sector. So.
Oh, the net neutrality stuff.
No, I meant like
Oh.
SpaceX. And
Oh, yeah,
friends
yeah,
and
yeah.
Jeff Bezos.
But look what it took
company.
to get there.
Yeah. Rich people.
That was how many years ago, right?
I know. Yeah, 50, 60.
Yeah, like,
whatever it
like
was.
that's the part where I started
Yeah.
becoming like, I don't know. Maybe we didn't. Maybe Oliver Stone was really good. And not Oliver Stone. What was his name? The guy who made. Gosh, who was the director that they say?
What movie?
No, they say that directed the landing because he made.
Oh shit! I
Uh,
don't know.
he made
I won't know.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Stanley Kubrick.
That guy.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. So now we just get into more life questions. What is your goal in life?
no, that's a really good question.
Oh man, so you're gonna keep loving all these.
Well, because I don't know anymore, right? Like I feel like
because you
my
you
life,
all
yeah,
PhD out.
Yeah.
You're only one of a handful of people I know have the PhD, but you probably I don't know if I've met them post PhD because they always get sent somewhere, or doing something. Like
You're faking moon landing.
that shit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because you go for this goal for like 10 years of your life, and then you get it, and it's like, oh, okay, now what?
The journey is
think,
over.
I didn't
need a
think big
new
enough,
journey.
apparently. Yeah. And so that's what I'm in the process of doing now, right? I feel that it will evolve around educational equality, and I'm doing a lot more research with that, and trying to figure out what can be practically done, right? Like I said, I don't know much about the transportation stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But like education, I'm like, no, I feel like things can be done. They're going to be difficult, but they're necessary.
Mm.
So yeah, like that's kind of the next thing.
All right. Who do you have compassion for?
The harder questions who I don't have compassion for. Because I feel like I have a compassion for a lot of people.
All right. Well,
It's hard
do
to
what
have-
You need to do. Yeah, if you want to answer that.
Yeah,
do
it's
that.
hard to have compassion for conservative Christian Republicans.
Mm.
It really is. Like, because I just see that, right? Like, here it goes, right? Like, I feel the stereotype is that they have taken what they perceive to be scriptural truth and twisted it to bend towards their own political agenda. They're pro-life except for when it comes to gun control, except for when it comes to letting refugees over the border, except for when it comes to letting dreamers stay and have a fulfilled life in the U.S. And that's all they've ever known. Right? It's like, yeah, you're pro-life except for when it comes to giving
The life part.
Yeah, right. You're pro-birth.
Yeah.
Call yourself that, right? Because that's what you're really about. You just want a baby born. You don't care about its life. You know what I mean? And my rebuttal to that is no. I'm pro-life. Like you can't co-opt that term,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't own a gun, right? And I try to be nonviolent, and I don't own a gun. And that's not a political statement. That is a statement of I was robbed at gunpoint. I don't own a gun, right? Like I've had this traumatic experience. A gun wouldn't have helped, and I know that somebody would have been dead, either me or them, and the fact that I could have taken another life would have always weighed on me. I'm pro-life. I want someone to enjoy life and be educated, be fulfilled, and have healthcare, right? Like I feel like they're taking away the term that really means something. I know you're pro-birth and pro-gun and pro, like, as long as it's not your kid, I don't care if they die. might seem harsh, but that's how I feel. And so it's hard to have compassion
For sure.
for them.
Part of me wants to ask as a follow-up, like your thoughts on the gun stuff, but I'm like, well, then we'll go on another one. And I'm like, I still got to keep going. Because I am curious, because I know I see you posting about all that stuff.
Yeah.
3 things you're thankful for.
3 things. I am thankful to be back in Texas. Right, where it is. I'm wearing shorts. It's November, whatever it is. It's November. That's enough of a statement.
Yeah.
Having spent the last 2 years in Providence. I am thankful for friends and family and being able to see them during this time. I think as you get older, you appreciate that more. I'm thankful for my job. I'm thankful that I get to really research what I want to research and feel that it actually is meaningful and impactful. I mean, just recently, the research that I've done on Hurricane Harvey and identifying students within HISD has allowed the church that I go to start a campaign to fulfill all the needs in that community because they realize that they're the worst off. But that's based off of what I found, and so it's like, oh, wow, like for the first time in my life, I see my research being used to help people, like actual people, and not just in a journal. Yeah,
it's not something you do.
Exactly.
Damn, that's badass. So this is the next one. One person you want to forgive, and one person you want to forgive you, and if you can say why.
Oh, geez.
I feel like
this podcast changed.
Oh yeah, I know. Maybe I need to like have the first part, like maybe I need to have the first part be not so happy-go-lucky. But a lot of these people I don't get to see as often as maybe once was. So the first part is always smooth. But I think I need to start warning people that the second half, I say life questions. Clearly, that's not doing a good enough job.
No.
I need to be like serious as fuck questions, like some real shit.
Some real shit.
Because everybody picks a different one, but there comes up one of these questions always gives somebody like, oh, geez, that reaction.
Yeah.
Like, whether
that was
one,
it.
or like that one.
Oh man, I don't know. That's gonna be hard.
That should be the intro.
I know.
This podcast went a different way.
What the hell? This podcast was not expecting that. What was the question again? Who I forgive?
One person you would want to forgive and vice versa, if you can say why. If not, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there are things that are that I think a lot of people go through that probably are just too personal. But this is my politician answer.
Yeah,
I gotta work on this.
PC, baby, you working training for Tuesday?
Yeah, I know.
I should ask you a bonus. Like, you should give me a bonus question. Do you want for me to ask him during the podcast?
Okay, fair enough. I will say that I am learning to forgive, and I think that's a journey that has been long coming. I think I'm learning to forgive myself for things that I've done, and that I think is the hardest one. I feel like I've forgiven a lot of people who've wronged me, but it's really hard to forgive myself, and that's where I'm at, right? And so maybe the answer is both, right? Like I am the answer to both, because at the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter too much if somebody forgives you. Because it doesn't practically, it may not change much. But if you haven't forgiven yourself, then that will hinder you from growth. That will hinder you from realizing what you can be or being free and right, like those kinds of things that I think are more important.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Sometimes I poke people, for that one, like because sometimes they dance around, but I'll let you go. You got a career. Some of us got careers, so I get it. So other people like me are doing this shit, killing my chances of career. But where you see yourself in 3 years?
Oh, geez, this goes back to the first question of what is.
That's fine. Some of these things a lot of these questions overlap.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I would answer. I don't know. Right, like it's a great unknown at this point. I could see myself being a professor and teaching and doing that at a university, I could see myself doing more of the education stuff. I could see myself being back here doing working for change here in San Antonio as opposed to Houston. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's exciting because it's open.
Mm.
Yeah.
What is the perfect day?
Oh man. Perfect day is 75 degrees. It's weather based.
It's weather based.
It is. Yeah. Like it's long days, nice weather. Playing basketball would be part of that perfect day with people that I enjoy playing with. Not just people at the park. That's fun, but like better if it's people I know. It's a Spurs win, a playoff win.
Oh
yeah,
shit.
maybe a finals win, right?
All right, now we're timing it.
Yeah. Now we're yeah, and my favorite part of the season's always been San Antonio in spring, right? Because it's like
everybody's into it.
Everyone's into it.
Yeah.
Right. The Spurs are on. Fiesta's happening. Right. Like there's like this freshness. It went from cold, right? It went from chilly to warm.
That 1 week is in February. That 1 week is in February. It's a tough week, man.
But yeah, so that would be the perfect day.
All right. This one I struggle sometimes to ask it because I haven't really formulated it too well. But where does the will to carry on come from? Does it come from within or a higher power or what?
The will to carry on, like the will to keep living. It's just like the Shakespearean,
Yeah, I don't know.
To be or not to be.
Sure. Like I feel like someone like that one and maybe question one. I feel like I need to like maybe reverbalize them because I've gotten some iffy. Like I've gotten some re-question back, and I'm like, all right, maybe I should chalkboard some of this stuff. I don't be doing that. I'll just keep turning them out.
That's fine. Purpose. I'll take it that way.
Sure.
I think purpose, like I have come to redefine what purpose is in life, right? Like if someone asks me, what's the purpose of humanity or for me to exist? What is my purpose? And people might go, oh, like my kids, or it's for my career, or it's for to make a difference in the world, or right. I don't know if all that's maybe that's true. But I think the purpose for me is deeply rooted in faith and understanding that my purpose is to know my creator and to know that I'm loved by him or her or whatever it may end up being. Right. I use him not in that God is a man, but like
let's go PC life.
No, but then honestly, right? Like God is a being
for sure.
And so to be loved by the creator and to just be his creation. And so, and that's it. That's my purpose. And I think that's simple, but it's also difficult, right? Because a lot of things will pull you from your purpose of enjoying life. And not in a very hedonistic way, not in I need to grab all the resources, but in a way that understands that, hey, you need to enjoy life too. And maybe there's something that's stopping you from enjoying life to the fullest. And if I can help you, maybe I should. Right. And I see that with social justice. Like poverty is probably it's hurting a lot of people from fully enjoying life. So maybe we need to work on that because they need to fully enjoy life. Right. And so it really starts to simplify things like social justice, right? Where it's not about me. It's not about like, I need to feel good. It's more about, I feel like that's the purpose of humanity. And if someone's not attaining that, then we need to help them attain that. I need to attain that for myself. So,
bacon. All right, next one is I wish, I wonder. This is the last one. You've been one of the quicker breezes for this, and also because I've been purposely not following up. But I wish, I wonder. I like that I did. I wish I had done. I wonder what would have happened if.
I like that I finished my PhD. I wish I had spent more time in contemplation, prayer, and meditation. I don't think I did that enough. I wonder what life would be like if I hadn't let my first love go. That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Damn. Like,
So
I feel like those last two, I almost want to pry into them, but at this point we can kind of end it. So like, in part two, you know, even more curious. Like I'm actually more curious in the meditation.
yeah.
Because I'm always curious. Like, what do you? Obviously you're religious.
Mhm.
So like, do you those coincide for you, both meditation
Oh, yeah.
and prayer?
Yeah. I
So,
think
like,
it's one.
What do you do? What can you define? So what is that? Like, how does one pray, meditate?
So yeah, so like for me, and this is a practice that I want to get back into that I did a lot more when I was in Providence, but it's an hour of silence, an hour of, and it could be you could repeat a mantra if you want, right?
That sounds like TM,
What's TM?
transcendental meditation.
Oh yeah, it might be. Yeah, I don't know the terminology for
For
it.
sure. I do. I've tried to look up meditation so much, like various forms.
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
looking for the way.
For
know?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it would be like either like a verse or a scripture or like, you know, God loves me or God is creator, right? Like something, a simple mantra to focus on. But yeah. And so it's really like listening, right? And from my belief, it's listening to the Spirit of God, right? Listening to his direction and what he wants to say in this moment. And it's been very powerful times, right? Like I feel like my times of meditation and prayer in that way have just been really life-changing even. And really just getting me on this path towards more spirituality, right? Like where it's like, I feel like people often box in Christianity to this set of beliefs. I don't think that was it. Right? And I think, yeah, maybe there are things about God that I think are true. And I think there are things about morality that is there, but I don't think that was the point, right? I think the point, like I said, kind of base level is, hey, God created you and he loves you, right? And you're good, right? Like I think about, I've been reading more Genesis, right? And this idea of on the first day and the second day, third day, but at the end, and it was good, and it was good, and it was good. And that is, I feel like a lot of it has taken away Christianity today in the US, at least, has taken that away and be like, no, the earth is bad and people are bad and there's evil and there's like, yeah, those things exist. But at base level, it's good. Right. And this really struck me. Even it happened in time of prayer and meditation, where this struck me of like, oh, you know what? Jesus wasn't cynical. Because I've been cynical of people for sure. I'm like, no, people are shit, right? Like, you know, like that's why there needs to be regulations because they would take advantage of you, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of got convicted of that. It's like, oh, wait, but Jesus wasn't cynical, and the reason I know that is because he relied on people's generosity and hospitality his whole life, or at least his ministry life, his 3 years. He would go house to house, and he'd eat there, and he'd stay there. Like he relied on people's generosity because he believed in it, right? And it's like, whoa, that's big, right?
Yeah, I know people do that now, and like I'm afraid to take that risk, but they travel the world doing that.
Yeah. I've seen. I've actually hosted somebody when I was in Providence.
Damn, look at that.
Yeah, not to like brag or anything, but I've met somebody and posted them. And so yeah, like in that regard, where it's like, oh wait, if the creator of the universe is like, no, I trust my creation to be good, and who am I to be cynical, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's wisdom in like watching out for people and not just like trusting blindly, but there's also this undercurrent of like, you can't be cynical because there's good in humanity, right? And I think that in my meditation, right, like I wish I had realized that earlier, and I think I would have if I'd slowed down and processed and prayed and thought and really try to center myself, right? And what that means to me is, like I said, just being silent, turning off your devices, not worrying about the ESPN update, not worried about, like, or fasting, right? Like that's something I want to do more of, and I've done, where you just don't eat and you kind of take that hunger and say, yeah, I don't need to eat right now. Right. Like, but I'm going to let that hunger refocus me. I'm going to let that focus on something else.
That's interesting, using the fasting for meditation, because I'm not doing it so much now, but I used to do like intermediate fasting.
Okay.
But I was doing it more for like, you know, the weight loss benefits. Or I've thought about doing real fasting or normal fasting, but just exploring like what exactly is the ketogenic diet and stuff like that. I feel like during fasting, if I'm understanding things correctly, because sometimes I don't, I feel like you almost reach a state of ketosis by fasting long enough periods. So I've thought about just doing that as a different way to attain that. But yeah, that's interesting having the hunger drive you. Like,
yeah. Because you read Jesus fasted, right? And I think he calls that as a spiritual discipline, right? Because I think like what has happened in our American society in terms of American Christianity is that we've compartmentalized this is spiritual and this is physical. But like I don't ever see that in Jesus, right? Like he is all about both, right? They're interconnected in some way that we don't realize, but they are. Where he calls a spiritual discipline depriving yourself of a physical need. Like, how does that work? How is that a spiritual thing when it's physical, right? But there's something about who we are as humans, our emotional intelligence, our spiritual intelligence, and physical, that is connected in a way that I think we have wrong in the U.S. and how we think about what is spiritual and what is physical, right? What is godly, what is, or what is holy and what is mundane, and that kind of thing. I don't ever see the divisions that Jesus makes those divisions.
This feels like a weird place to end it, but like, but I think that's what's gonna happen, just so we don't go forever.
Yeah,
because I get guilty of doing that. I be on my Joe Rogan tip, and I'm not even famous, just doing like 8-hour podcasts, like shit. But yeah. So you got anything you want to plug or anything?
No, I'm not. I don't have anything going on.
And you like don't even want even your published papers. You don't like
No one's gonna read that. There's a paywall behind all that stuff.
There's a what behind?
A paywall.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Academia is not about the public good. Get out
Damn.
of here. No, it's
There's
an indictment on
clip
academia.
3.
Yeah. Look, like I said, the stuff I've done with Harvey and how it's impacted this church to then go out and reach the community.
Yeah.
That won't get me tenure. That won't get me any credit.
Yeah.
But a paper that I've written in the top journal of sociology that will get read, but won't get read by people. It'll get read by other academics.
Yeah.
That's seen as the thing to do. It's like, yeah, but I don't know. It's not going to help anybody. Like practically, it won't. It won't feed anybody. It won't clothe anybody. This other research does, but it's not counted.
Doing stuff. It just reminds me of musicians and comedians doing stuff for each other.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so no plugs. Last words.
I don't know. Lupe Fiasco. Check him out.
He's the best. The GOAT. The GOAT in Matt's
lyricism.
Opinion. The GOAT. The hidden GOAT. Oh man, I shouldn't. I am gonna end it right there, but it just brought to mind. You remember the basketball player called the GOAT?
Michael Jordan.
No, that's the real one. But no, you don't remember. Like this goes back to like basketball. Like I feel like I can't remember his name, but I feel like he had something involving a hook, and he used to tell the legendary story of like him getting the quarter from the top of the board or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He's one of those guys that I don't think he ever makes the NBA. Like, but just one of those legendary Harlem guys. But yeah, it just reminded me of that because I think that's his street name, the GOAT. But all right, yo, we done. Bake that chicken, smoke that turkey. Boosh.
When I go to sleep, I dream of red suns in the bed. No, that makes no sense, and you're the only one that probably cares. Lately, little Teddy's been turning into nightmares, gnashing teeth and sharp claws, violent, and I'm always scared. She's got a fake boyfriend. He lives in LA. Says she met him online. I mean, what else can I say? Said he'll visit next May, but that's hard to believe, cause he works at a cafe, and playing tickets ain't free. Says he's in school, he's doing big things. He'll be the best welder. this world's ever seen. God, I sound like an asshole. I don't mean to be mean. It's just when we talked, you had bigger dreams. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong. No one on this earth deserves to wait upon my love this long. I never told you sorry, so I gotta put it in the song. My nightmares, they haunt me. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong. No one on this earth deserves to wait upon my love this long. I never told you sorry, so I gotta put it in the song. My nightmares, they haunt me. When I go to sleep, I dream of red sun and the bears. I know that makes no sense here. The only one that probably cares. Lately, little things did turning into nightmares. Gnash your teeth and sharp claws, violent, and I'm always scared. She's got a fake boyfriend. He plays in a band. Parents say he's too old. They just don't understand. To get married's the plan, but she wants a ring. And he works at a cafe, and them things ain't free. Yeah, I know he's in school. He's doing big things. He'll be the best plumber this world's ever seen. I know I'm being an asshole, but all I can do is be mean. 1,000 miles away, and he's more there than I could ever be. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong. No one on this earth deserves to wait upon my love this long. I never told you sorry, so I gotta put it in the song. My nightmares, they haunt me. I know, I drag my feet and did you wrong. No one on this earth deserves to wait upon my love this long. I never told you sorry, so I gotta put it in the song.